everyone, welcome to the interior of the 2024 Mercedes AMG GLA35 4MATIC. That's the full name, but we don't have to go into all to those details. That is for my full review. Definitely go check that out if you haven't watched it. Today we're going to go on a POV drive and impressions of this 2024 GLA35. And as you can see here, we have a nice red and black interior with this carbon structure trim, new style AMG wheel with those cool buttons down here where you can kind of configure a whole bunch of different modes, which is a fun touch. Comfort, suspension. The Sport Plus is a little too stiff. Updated screens just a little bit, no more trackpad or anything. Let's take a quick tour on the exterior before we go ahead on a drive and see what this thing's capable of. You also have some illuminated AMG side sill plates as well, which is a nice touch. And this one's painted here in digital white. Now we're actually running Michelin winter tires. It is not winter really right now, it's spring. It is a little bit cold today, but these tires are really not the best, I think, to kind of extract all the capability of this car, though this is what I've been giving with. We have AMG brakes, of course, in this one. Nice and powerful. I do like the looks of the GLA. I think it's a fun, almost like bulldog-esque design. It's kind of funky looking. We have the AMG grille, AMG night package. We have these newer, upgraded LED lights now for 2024, which are really impressive at night. A little turbo AMG 4MATIC badge on the side. You know, it kind of reminds me more of a hot hatch than an SUV. It's so low to the ground. It also looks pretty fun and cool like this. And it's just a fun little peppy SUV. Some dual exhaust out here with this diffuser style. Let's go hop in and take this thing on a drive. Premium fuel is required actually on this one, which makes sense. We have over 300 horsepower. Okay guys, inside of the GLA35 we have a few things to kind of go over before we head off. On the steering wheel here we have those fun drive modes we can kind of play around with. Sport, Sport Plus, as well as our individual mode, and we have comfort and a slippery reduced mode as well. Individual is kind of fun. You can kind of play around with some things, and we have this cool controller on the left hand side where we can toggle through a whole bunch of different drive settings, from our manual mode to our auto stop start settings, as well as our traction control. You can change either one to configure it how you like. So I have it on suspension, so I can put it from comfort, sport, Sport Plus, as well as our AMG dynamics on and off. And all of this information is up in our infotainment screen, which you can also access from this dynamic button right here, which is a nice touch, so I can always access it. We also have these fun AMG Performance pages on here, which are with an engine torque. We have a vehicle gauge that kind of shows a whole bunch of fun information, an IWC clock as well. Let's kind of get out of that information screen there, which is fun, and some consumption information. So some fun little things in here. We have a unique super sport screen as well as our sport screen, so that's also unique here. And we can also customize our heads-up display on this GLA35. So let's head off, pop it into drive here. We are in our individual mode here, and what I have been finding to have the best individual mode personally for me is to have the engine in reduced, which actually allows it to just shut off and coast thanks to this new 48-volt system. And that's how I think I like to drive this thing around on a daily basis. I might be a weirdo, but I like to have my AMG dynamics on actually all the time. And what the AMG dynamics does, so we have basic and advanced. It really just, in advanced mode, it kind of reduces a lot of the car's barriers, if you want to so say, down, and kind of enhances performance. So your steering's going to get a little bit stiffer. Some of the other parameters are going to be more of like a performance oriented settings than usual. So that's kind of like how I like to drive it. Steering does actually get like noticeably stiffer in the AMG dynamics mode, so that's one thing to note here. And you can also play around. So like, let's say if you're in Sport Plus mode, you can turn your suspension over to comfort because it gets way too stiff, which I'll try to demonstrate in this video here. There's also a lot of fake engine noise. I'm going to pop it into Sport Plus mode now. And if you're able to hear on camera here, there is a lot of fake engine sound in Sport Plus mode. Why? I don't know why they piped in so much fake engine sound, but it is aggressive. And it kind of ruins, I think, the experience a little bit of this GLA35, because it honestly has a decent sounding engine. Just this fake engine sound is just so aggressive in the Sport Plus mode. I honestly prefer to drive it in Sport, but then you can't have the engine in the full-on dynamic mode because kind of always has that sound going on. There's no way to actually turn it off, which is really frustrating, I think. We also have this 8-speed automatic, or I guess dual clutch gearbox, dual clutch automatic, and it's very snappy with its shifts. Obviously you can put it in manual mode with these really nice paddle shifters back here, and it shifts quick, instantly, and constantly fast. Now, since it is being a dual clutch, when you're driving around in comfort mode, or even in your individual mode, if you want to have it in a more comfort oriented setting, stop and go traffic, stop lights and stop signs, you're going to notice that dual clutch jerk, because on cold mornings sometimes just getting off from a start, it goes a little bit of a lurch. That's just what you're going to be dealing with on these dual clutch vehicles. And I have to say, handling itself is also really good. That's kind of impressed me a little bit this week. The steering, you know, there isn't too much feel, I would say, from it, even when it gets a little bit in the stiffer in the AMG Dynamics mode, but it turns in surprisingly well for a transverse, like front-wheel drive based platform of a vehicle. We have that enhanced 4MATIC all-wheel drive system on this car as well, which is really nice. That's going to help to kind of improve some traction around corners. Now, I will say there is some body roll actually, and I think they tried to kind of compensate that with this incredibly stiff suspension setup, which I have to say, even in comfort dampers right now, is still a little bit too uncomfortably stiff. I also blame these winter tires for letting a little bit more road noise and some other, oh boy, bumps and stuff kind of bumping in here. But we're going to have some bumps here. Oh boy, and the second you pop these dampers into Sport Plus mode, I'm only going to do this for this video because it kind of is painful. Going over any bumps, undulations, it is just like jittering. It's kind of an unnerving experience. I'm sure they, you know, tune these on like the Nürburgring or something, but oh boy, it's kind of painful, especially if you live in an area where there's a lot of potholes or broken pavement or just poorly maintained roads. This might not be a vehicle you might want to even look at. I would just consider a GLA250 if you don't need this little extra oomph, because it's a punishing suspension, and I don't think it completely fully benefits this vehicle. Maybe if, you know, you had the right tires on it, if the suspension was a little bit more advanced than what we have, a multi-link out back, and I think a single wishbone up front sort of set up. But oh, it's just unnervingly stiff, and these seats are great and comfortable. You can get actually optional AMG Performance seats, which I think are going to be even more stiffer than these. I think these are perfectly comfortable for this vehicle, but that's just one thing I've noticed over this past week. And generally, it is a really fun car to drive around. Fun sounds, just in Sport Plus mode, it's just a little too much artificialness coming in here to kind of augment that engine sound, which is a little bit unfortunate. And now for 2024, we also lose that touchpad that we used to have. So now at least you do have these kind of touch controls to control your infotainment screen if you don't want to reach over and touch it, which is a nice touch. We also have this gesture control thing, which you can kind of configure. So I have it set up to change my ambient lighting here. You can kind of set it to change a few different things. So they've tried to kind of fix without having the touchpad. I like to have something down here so I don't have to be like occupied. Even on the steering wheel, these touch buttons are a little bit too fiddly, I think, for my personal tastes, but they do work, and I guess it is safer than just reaching out and touching the screen because it is a little bit further away from your driving position. We have a nice heads-up display here. It's not my favorite heads-up display, I think, on the market. There are some that offer more crisper graphics and more better detailed information, but it does get the job done, and it's a decent size. I've got a little more squeaking out of those brakes here. And like, as you can see right now, this is just one of the best ways, I think, to drive the GLA, just around daily traffic. Fuel economy, again, is not super impressive in the GLA35, especially if you're driving on it a little bit harder all the time. This little turbo 4-cylinder will eat through fuel pretty quick, and it has a very small fuel tank. Actually, I think it's like a 13.5 gallon fuel tank, which is kind of surprised me when I looked at that, because yes, it's a smaller SUV, but some things like a BMW X2 or something will have a much bigger fuel tank than this, and I'm not sure why they put a small fuel tank on a car that is definitely going to be driven harder and eating through fuel more often than not. And another big question a lot of people have been having is, where is the GLA35? Well, it's gone. It seems to be gone for the 2024 model year here in the US, and no one's really too sure why. I don't think sales were too high. It's a very expensive vehicle, and this, as configured, is also a very expensive vehicle. We're looking at this particular one at $67,000, which I won't lie is a little bit of a tough pill to swallow. It also does have $10,000 in options, so you can get it in the $50,000 range, and I think around there it becomes a little more understandable and within the class. But for this particular price point here, it's definitely on the higher end spectrum for the price range, and oh, it's a little bit of a tough pill to swallow for only around 302 horsepower. That's where I would kind of look at some other more higher performing vehicles, something from like BMW, or well, yeah, BMW probably, especially with like an X3 M40i. You can kind of get around in this price range as well, decently equipped. You know, Mercedes, in BMW as well, and some other German manufacturers like to throw on a lot of options at you, and the base models are pretty sparse, and that's kind of what the situation is here. This is fully loaded, but you are going to be paying for a lot of these fun features. At the core, you are going to be getting that engine and like the dynamics and stuff, but it's just not going to be the same experience as I think when you kind of load it up on all this stuff. Now, hopping out here onto the highway just in a second, I want to demonstrate for you guys the pretty fantastic safety system setup and adaptive cruise system setup on this car. It is definitely still fun to play around with all the time. We're going to pop it back into my individualized setting mode, and on our left hand side of the steering wheel here, I'm going to actually open up our safety screen. Now we can turn on our adaptive cruise control, and it's a really fantastic system for this entry-level luxury small hatchback, even though yes, it's $70,000, so I guess you would expect to it, but a lot of these entry-level hatchback SUV style vehicles don't even offer these kinds of systems. So this is even this luxury segment, so this is a nice thing for Mercedes to even offer. It is expensive, but all you have to do is press on, make sure your system is primed and ready, set your speed to your exact distance. Cool little animation pops up on your gauge cluster right there, and now you are in the system. Now, it has a full set of systems. Obviously, you're going to have your blind spot, you're going to have your emergency collision warnings up front as well as in the back. You have all of your sensors around you constantly monitoring to make sure you're safe. But out here on the highway, it has the full setup of safety systems. It is essentially driving itself now. You're supposed to always have your hands on the wheel, obviously, but as you can see, it does let you drive a significant amount of time without your hands on the steering wheel, and it's a very safe and I think predictive system. You can obviously adjust your following distance pretty easily with this button here. You can change it from your different I think we have 4 different levels of following distance here you can adjust from. Pretty easy to set your speed. It shows up in your heads-up display as well as down here as well, which is a nice touch. Blind spot's always active now to kind of make sure you are safe at all times. It does have the automatic lane change function built into this adaptive cruise control system, which is a really great touch. It's honestly a gimmick at the end of the day, but sometimes when it does work, when you just feel like you have the space to do it, it's a fun thing to show off to some people, like, hey, my car can do that, I don't think yours can. So let's see what happens if I try to lane change here. Oh, it's actually doing it. Look at that. So lane changing to the right, even though this is an exit lane, it kind of did it, but just as you can see, it will say lane change to the right. We are coming up to a light here. I'm going to turn this off, but it does do it. It's pretty cool, and again, mostly of a gimmick feature nonetheless. Nonetheless, guys, as we are back in city traffic, thank you for joining me on yet another POV drive and review from Allcarnews, and as always, stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.